The Trump administration is planning on loosening restrictions when it comes to the global sale of weapons. Now, in 2015, President Obama had actually passed a few restrictions when it came to our weapons manufacturers and the type of, sales that they can do with foreign countries. But Trump doesn't like that, and neither do the weapons manufacturers. So he does plan on undoing some of those restrictions and even going further to make it easier for these weapons manufacturers to sell to foreign countries. Now, the changes, which could include enlisting the State Department and Pentagon to more actively advocate on behalf of American arms manufacturers, as if they don't already, are set to be included in an executive order or presidential memorandum that Trump will issue this fall.
But pause there for a second, because look, I know that unfortunately a lot of our foreign policy is centered around corporate America, and it's not really corporate America. They're multinational corporations that just happen to be powerful in America, partly because of the donations that they give. But this is really going a little further than that. Why is our military helping to sell weapons to people who might use it against them, just so that defense contractors can make a buck? That's nuts. But the only thing crazier than that is to have the State Department, which Anna's right, they've unofficially done that for a long time. And by the way, it's turned out disastrous when our government has destabilized democracies, overthrown democratically elected leaders so that American companies can make more money. And it has blown back on us almost every time and caused the actual American people a lot of damage. But now to actively and out in the open say, yeah, the State Department, instead of doing diplomacy and creating peace around the world, is going to do the opposite. They're going to help sell record-breaking number of arms all throughout the world, and you use them any way you like.
If we're the world's cops, right? The cops want less guns. I mean, why? I don't know everything that the United Nations does, but shouldn't there be like constant global conferences where the leaders and the leaders of the free world get together and work out ways to massively restrict the flow of weapons around the world? I mean, wouldn't that be better? And except for one significant group, the people who make those weapons,
right?
Who are enormously powerful companies here in the United States. Chris Murphy, senator from Connecticut, just this slightly relevant, touches on Puerto Rico, but he tweeted today, it's worth asking why we spend $600 billion a year on the military. That doesn't include independent private sales of weapons, but it's worth asking why we spend $600 billion a year on the military if we can't get more than 5,000 troops and 50 helicopters to Puerto Rico. So the State Department will advocate for this, do this, freeing the sale of weapons around the world, make it easier. But yet somehow we can't step to it and help a US territory that's just off our shore.
I'm gonna add one quick thing to that. Just Democrats actually just started a petition to say we should not do any other business in Congress, including the tax cuts for the rich and selling weapons all across the world so that defense contractors can get rich, until we aid the people of Puerto Rico. Okay, it's justdemocrats.com/Puerto Rico. We'll put a link down below. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is one of the Just Democrats running for office in New York, and you should check out her page, justdemocrats.com/Ocasio. We'll put that link below too. She's the one that's leading this process and saying, are you kidding me? We're not doing anything for these people, and they're Americans and they need our help right now. So I know you're prioritizing your tax cuts and your weapons sales, but can we do this first, get them help first? I think that makes sense. Look, they've got their lobbyists. We have you guys. So go out there, and these petitions do make a difference. They made a giant difference in the Medicare for All debate. So justdemocrats.com/Puerto Rico.
Okay, so I got to give you guys more of the specific details about what this administration is doing when it comes to these arms sales, because it is terrible. So the new arms transfer initiative being run out of the White House National Security Council aims to make US companies more competitive when allies are shopping for fighter jets ground vehicles, warships, missile defense, and also other military gear in an intensely competitive
market. But can I just say, this is total nonsense.
No, I know, because we are leading when it comes to arms sales. 50% of weapon sales, arms sales come from the United States, international arms sales. So the competition is even freaking close.
So we literally lap the field. We're more than half. So not only are we #1 in this category, selling arms to oftentimes dictators like Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, where in Saudi Arabia use it against civilians, to Nigeria, to all these different places. And since we sell more than half the arms, and some very, to Ben's point, it's not just selling guns to people, and cops would be concerned if you had it in a domestic. It's like selling armor-piercing bullets to people. And so we're selling really high-tech weapons sometimes. And by the way, again, sometimes letting technology that's really important to our national security slip out from underneath us so they can make a buck. And to say that, it's a really competitive market when we sell more arms than the rest of the world combined is totally not true.
Right.
It's just an excuse to make more money.
And it's not like we're going to track these weapons, right? And making the argument that, we're doing these arms sales to our allies. That's worked out for us in the past, right? Where we arm our so-called allies, and then later on, when we engage in war with them, we unfortunately armed our enemies. So to give you, go ahead.
Yeah, just super quick. Not even later on, we armed those countries in the Gulf, like Saudi Arabia. They were the #1 provider of arms to rebel forces we were fighting inside Iraq, to insurgents in Iraq. That got our troops killed, literally. Okay, but some defense contractor made some money.
Yeah, I know, but let's not get offended by that. Let's get offended because someone decided to kneel during the national anthem during an NFL game. Now, what Trump is doing also greenlights sales of precision-guided munitions to Saudi Arabia that the Obama administration held up over concerns that they have been used to kill civilians in the offensive against rebels in Yemen.
Precision-guided munitions, so missiles.
Yeah.
Those are bombs. What do they call bombs?
Yeah, and they also sold very high-tech drones. And there's a reason why they put those regulations in place. It's not because they're no good liberals and they just like to make sure you don't make money. No, if you sell the high-tech drones to others, then they have the technology. They could just reverse engineer it, and it goes all across the world, and it could be used against our troops. There was a reason for that regulation, otherwise known as a law. And when you take that away because, those are donors, Republican donors, we got to make them more money. Look, sneaker companies want to make more money, have at it, Hoss. And we want to, if they're theoretically American, whatever that means, and we want to support them and have our diplomats selling Nikes. It's a weird thing, but it's not nearly as destructive as having our diplomats going around selling arms to people who might then use it against us.
Right.
I'm not so sure that some of the, I don't know enough about it, but some of the stuff could be kind of socialized. Like you don't get to make anything. Like the idea that we could massively restrict the people, or at least associated with the United States of America, and then get together with our allies, that we restrict the amount of precision-guided missiles made. Like that's okay. That strikes. I don't want the free market to dictate that in any way.
Yeah, what if the free market says, ISIS has a lot of money, which they do because they got a lot of the oil from Iraq and Syria. They say, okay, I'm just buying it on the free market. Give me a nuke. Do you want the free market then?
Right, we understand.
Of course, there's got to be restrictions.
So because we are unable to, because our isolation and our wonderfully fortuitous geographic isolation that we have here, which has protected us for so many hundreds of years. Well, just 2. We know exactly how long. Since sometime in the mid-18th century. The nukes make no difference there, right? We can't. That doesn't help us, right?
Yeah, the big waters, as Trump would
big
call
water
it,
doesn't help us as much with nukes. So we work our ass off, or at least the smart ones do, to restrict those nukes, right? But we don't. So the concept that there are weapons out there that the world would get together to try to restrict, but we won't restrict the weapons that have killed far, far, far more people than nukes. and have wreaked havoc on the world and destabilized the world and made us more in danger than ever before. We won't come together in the world and as civilized nations and try to restrict that. But again, because it's a different way of thinking, right? And we don't think that way. The companies, the weapons manufacturers are given free rein, and when their reign is restricted a little bit, as they were in the Obama administration, we get a guy like Trump in there and he unrestricts.
Yeah, so we weren't allowed to, well, there were at least restrictions when it came to selling arms to Bahrain and also to Nigeria. Those restrictions have now been lifted. And just to give you a sense of how much this type of dealing has increased under the Trump administration, graphic 16, in the first 8 months of 2017, the total value of US arms transfer notifications has nearly doubled to 48 billion compared to the same period in 2016. And so this has already begun, and it is definitely going to come back to haunt us in the future.
Okay, last thing, they're revamping the conventional arms transfer policy so that we can sell more military-grade weapons to foreign nations. They're also, this is my favorite quote, they're making the international traffic in arms regulations, quote, more user-friendly. Oh, great. Okay, then it'll be user-friendly for the dictators buying our weapons, and that'll just be fantastic for world peace. Finally, guys, think about it this way. And as I gave the Nike analogy and sneakers, it dawned on me that if we had in these orders, they're literally saying the people working out of our embassies, not just the military, which in essence we're now privatizing to work as salespeople for defense contractors, but also our diplomats. If those diplomats put on like Nike tracksuits and went and said, hey, you guys got to buy Nike in Cambodia or whatever, we'd say, oh, that's so unseemly and ridiculous. But this is way worse. They're telling them part of your job is go sell them weapons to kill each other with.
Yeah.
And the American taxpayer doesn't make $1 off that. It is just for private gain. That's insanity, man. If you like this video, you'll love the whole TYT network. Check it out at tytnetwork.com/join.